6 by 40 watts, RGBW and CMY capable of being assembled together like a puzzle. Jerry back with that Theatrically Jerry, and today we are going to look at this rather interesting fixture by VShow. This is the Puzzle GT640. This is a beam and wash light. So there's a lot of technology packed into this 20-inch long by an incredible 3.34 inches tall by 11.89 inches deep. I'm going to go ahead and show you how heavy it is. You can hold it with one hand, but two is better, obviously. So this fixture is a medium weight fixture weighing in at 15.43 pounds. So this light feels very sturdy in my hands because the chassis is completely made of metal here. Nothing on this fixture feels cheap or loose to me. Let's take a look at the front of this rather interesting light fixture. The front features 6 square-shaped glass lenses, as you can see here. This glass shape is not the traditional shape of a lens, so that automatically makes this look interesting. The shape of the entire thing makes it look like an Enigma to me, or out of place, but it also gives it its own style and look, so I'm loving this. Behind each square lens here is a 40-watt LED, and this LED is capable of RGBW color mixing, so red, green, blue, and a dedicated white, as well as CMY, or cyan, magenta, and yellow mixing. So with this light, you do have the ability to use the RGB color space as well as CMY color space. So I also thought that was pretty cool and interesting. You're actually going to get 2 color spaces built into each one of these LEDs here. The entire fixture draws about 300 watts of total power, while running power consumption is only 220 watts. Each one of these lenses is capable of zooming in and out individually. I also thought that was kind of interesting and sets itself apart from other light fixtures. This can create some rather interesting and dynamic lighting effects, and we're going to look more at that later on in the review. Because this is a puzzle style light, each fixture is capable of attaching to each other just like a puzzle piece. I'm going to go ahead and show you the left and right side here. It has locking mechanism, so this one doesn't actually have one that you can engage, so this would connect to another one. And then on the left side here, you actually have a hook locking mechanism. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how that comes out of the thing. So we're going to need a hex wrench here. And there's a little hole in the back. You're going to connect your hex wrench to it. So once you get your hex wrench into the access hole here in the back, you're just going to pull it down, and the hook's going to come down with it. Now, I've seen this kind of locking mechanisms on a lot of the LED video walls to connect each panel to each other. However, on the VShow one, it's so recessed in that it's actually really difficult to find the hex to turn this. So once you do find it, it's great, but finding it is rather difficult. So I don't find this really economical or quick to connect the puzzle to each other. I would have liked to have seen a different connecting mechanism, but it does work, and once it is locked down, it does not move, so it's pretty solid. Let's go ahead and spin this around and take a look at the back of the light fixture, because there is a lot going on back here and we're going to cover all of it. So here is the back of the puzzle, and like a puzzle, there's a lot of pieces back here. So I'm going to go over each of these for you guys so you can kind of tell what each thing does. So to the left here is a rather large rocker switch. I was glad to see that they included an oversized rocker. It makes a auditory click, allowing you to know that you've turned it on or off. I would have liked to have seen a lighted rocker switch, but that's fine. Below that is your safety fuse, which is pretty standard for a light fixture. Over here we have our 5-pin DMX-N. This is a professional light fixture, so they have included both 5-pin and 3-pin DMX-N. In the middle is your PowerCon Power In. So I do like how they have this laid out. It's very neat and clean looking. If you wanted to know what this is, it's a metal eye hook or a fisheye, and it is to wrap your safety cable around when you do have this mounted above anyone's head. So I'm glad to see that they've included that. Safety is always number one and important. In the middle here, they have their pre-installed mounting bracket here, and these are the really easy and quick twist locks. So you can just simply twist these and they'll pop off, and then you can twist it and it'll pop back on. Much better than traditional thumb screws. As you can see, there is a mounting hole here, so you can mount a C-clamp for your truss system, and this is a standard M8 hole. On the right side here is your 5-pin DMX-N, so this is almost mirroring this side. 5-pin DMX-N, your PowerCon Power Out, and your 3-pin DMX Out. So what they've done is created a very nice and neat layout so that a lot of these can be daisy chained together to create a wall of light. So they thought out the layout of the power in and out as well as the DMX in and out. To the right is the user interface. There is a 1.5-inch touchscreen system here, and this is a full color LCD display. Around the LCD display are 4 silk screened buttons that are touch sensitive. So there are no physical buttons on this light fixture. They are just silk screened buttons, and they are built into this piece of glass here. So this piece of glass is all one piece. This is typical for V-Show fixtures to have this as their navigation system instead of physical buttons. I would prefer to see a actual touch screen. However, the LCD isn't a touch screen. Let's go ahead and take a look at the user interface. I'm going to go ahead and power on the puzzle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and power this on so we can go through the user interface with you guys. So V-Show carries over its user interface, the GUI, to all of its light fixtures and equipment. So it's going to look very familiar when you go to operate it. Right now it is on its screensaver mode, so it's just going to flash V-Show. To get out of it, you can just hit any button here. So this is your main page. It shows the V-Show logo. It also shows the DMX address here. So I have it set to 1. Master slave, it's set to slave. The mode, it's set to DMX 512. You can set it to auto and others. We will look at that here in a second. Frames per second is going to show you how many frames per second of DMX information is being sent to the light fixture. Below it is channels. So I have this set to its 38 channel mode. There are several other channels modes we're going to look at a little bit later on. Below that is T1, which is the temperature sensor of the light. So right now it's running at 27 degrees Celsius. Down here, there's a green check mark. That's good. You want to have a green check mark. That means the light fixture ran through all of its safety features and also all of its parameters, and they all checked out. If you ever do have an issue, it will throw an error code, and a red X will show up here. And there will be a number of how many errors there are. Currently, I have 0. The next here says next 39, so the next channel is going to be 39. So V-Show's light fixtures do tell you what the next channel is going to be, and I love that. It saves a lot of time thinking what the next light fixture should start at. And then over here we have 24 or 240. And that's the serial number of this light fixture. So this light fixture is 240. All right, so let's explore the user interface. I'm going to hit the menu button here. As you can see, the silkscreen touch buttons are super sensitive, so that's good. That pans out. Main menu. First one, your DMX address. That's a typical. So I have it at 001. It can go up to 512. Below that is your channel mode. Right now I have it set to 38, which is the maximum amount of channels the light can handle. But you can hit enter and change it. You can go to 23 or 17. I'm going to run mine at 38 because I do like fine control of my light fixtures. There's a reset here. When you hit enter, it's going to say motor power on. This is for the zoom motor. So if I hit enter again and hit off, it's not going to do anything. But if I hit enter again and I do on, it's going to go through all of the motors and reset them to factory setting. Let's go ahead and back out of here. The next sub menu is your run menu, and this is pretty typical too. So right now I have it set to DMX. You can select user run, so that will run the built-in user programs that you program yourself, or auto, which will run the factory programs or macros. I'm going to go back to DMX. Down below is manual, which is pretty typical for a V-Show light fixture. I love manual control. It allows me to hang my lights and to also do a lot of things that I need to do on the ground without my light console. So let's see what we can do. You can lock the manual control. You can do zoom 1, zoom 2, zoom 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's going to control the zoom motor of the light fixture. Or you can zoom all at once. I love that they included that. That's cool. There's a zoom macro, which will run different programs that the factory has set for zoom only. And also your zoom macro speed. We have your dim. So this is your dimmer channel or your master fader channel. So this is your dimmer channel. So this is going to control how bright or dim the light fixture is. Under that is your strobe channel for strobing, and we're going to look at all of this later on in the review. Here's C.T.O. That is for your color temperature orange. So you can color correct the white on this from a cool white temperature to a warm white temperature. Back color macro, back color dimmer, your LED macro, your LED macro speed, your LED macro speed, your red LED, your green, your blue, and your white. And of course, all of these can be set from values of 000 to 255. go ahead and back out of manual. Run settings. So one of the things I like about VShow's light fixtures is how much control I can have over the light fixture. And they allow you to do that through their run settings. So right now we have our master slave mode set to slave. You can set it to master if you want. Dimming curves. So right now it's set to linear. There is a 16-bit dimmer included with the puzzle, and we're going to look at that later on to see how smooth it is, but you can actually set your dimming curve from linear to logarithmic to S curve to square root or square. So there is several dimming curves that you can select depending on your look that you're trying to achieve. Below that is your color mixing. So like I had stated earlier, this is both a RGB color space as well as a CMY. So if you hit enter, you can actually throw this into the CMY color space and start color mixing with CMY. I love that. Mirror, yes or no for that. That's going to mirror the light fixture from another light fixture. So right now I have it set to no because I don't want it to mirror what I'm telling it to do. User program. So you can actually start recording your own programs on here and they will store on board. So you don't actually need a light controller or console to run the puzzle. And basically you can go ahead and go into manual and put a bunch of different steps in here. So it can hold 12 steps of information. You can start recording by hitting record, or you can clear it by hitting clear all. All right, the next thing is if no DMX. I love this as well. So basically, if no DMX, that means that if there is no DMX to the light fixture, how do you want it to react? Powering on, I have it set to middle. You can set it to no effect or your user effect or auto. Below that is your runtime. You can either keep it or shutter off. I like to keep it, so when it is running, it's going to keep the light on, but you can also have it so it turns the light off. So these are all of the submenus for run setting. Below that is advanced settings. Advanced settings allows you to set the light fixture the way that you want it, not how the factory set it. So you can actually adjust the parameters of this light fixture. You can also go to LCD display. You can have it flipped, so you can hit flip, yes. It's going to flip it upside down. Flip, no. Flips it back, and below that is your screensaver that you saw earlier. I have it set to black, which is fine. It just flashes the black VShow logo. Below that is language display, so you can select English or Chinese, which is pretty typical. Adjustment recovery, if you do adjust this and you want it back to factory settings, you can recover the factory setting adjustments, so you can't really ruin this light fixture. I love that about VShow's advanced settings. And factory settings is going to put it back to its factory default. You do need to input a password. The password for a lot of these is just a bunch of zeros, but some of them have specific passwords that you have to ask VShow yourself to be able to access. So just a heads up there. Info. So DMX value is going to show you the current value of each DMX channel on this light fixture. They should all be set to 0, which they are. Error codes. If it ever throws an error code, it will show it here exactly what's wrong with the light fixture. So troubleshooting is super quick and simple with the puzzle, as well as a lot of other VShow light fixtures. Test mode. So you can go into test mode and you can test the fan. You can test the fan. There are 4 that you can test currently. And that's just to make sure the fans are running. This is a lot of things that the factory uses to quality control each light fixture. You can also do run test, enter no, or you can enter yes, and it will start testing the light fixture out. Product code, this is going to show you the name move beam. It's also going to give you the UID of the light fixture itself and the serial number. This is specific to each light fixture. It's not super important. And that is all of the submenus. So we have gone through all of the user controls that are currently available with the puzzle. Let's go ahead and check out the built-in macros as well as the 16-bit dimmer and the strobe on this. I'm very curious to see how well this dims and also how well this strobes. All right, so currently I have this set to auto mode, so it's going to run the macros or built-in shows from the light factory, and this is just a quick and easy way to show you guys some of the lights and effects that the puzzle can do. So I'm going to go ahead and let this run for a few seconds just to show you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 16-bit dimmer. I have it set to linear, which is my preferred dimming curve. Right now it is at 100% on the puzzle, and we're gonna go ahead and drop it down to 0. So as you can see, I'm at 3 out of 255, and it has a very, very smooth dimmer on it. Actually, one of the nicest dimmers I've seen currently. So this dimmer is extremely smooth. You don't have to worry about any jumping on your dimmer, and it's not going to miss steps. Because this is a 16-bit dimmer, it's going to be extremely smooth. So even at the lowest range, which is usually hard to control, they have controlled it beautifully on this light fixture, and it's an extremely smooth dim. So I'm at 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Smooth dim. Let's go ahead and check out the strobe because they are claiming a 20 hertz strobe, and they said it's one of the nicest strobes they have on their light fixtures. So let's go ahead and see if that pans out. So right now I have it set to 251 on the DMX channel, and this is the variable strobe. So it's varying between strobe speeds to create more of a chaotic effect. And you can, of course, change that by going up through the DMX channel for strobe. Let's see how fast this strobe can actually strobe. So right now we're in open, which is 210. So this is kind of a super slow strobe where it kind of just fades up to 100%, cuts off, and goes back again. This is built into the strobe channel. And you can, of course, speed that up as well. Now we're back to open, which is going to do another slow strobe fade. Wow. Okay, so the strobe on this is super good. So 103 is the fastest it's going to go, and my camera can't even pick it up because it's doing a 20 hertz or 20 frame per second refresh speed on the strobe channel here. So I do believe their claim of 20 hertz on this. It's a pretty nice strobe. Let's go ahead and set the color to white because that's more of a traditional strobe color, just so we can show you guys what the strobe looks like. So there we go, we got white up. So the strobe is extremely nice on this light fixture. This is the fastest it will strobe. I'm going to ramp it down for you guys to kind of show you the strobe. So we are at a slower strobe. It's not the slowest, it's in the middle, high middle for this, but I would say this is probably 15 hertz. And we're going to keep dropping it down. So now we're at 32 on the DMX channel for strobe out of 255. So we are nearing 0, and the closer to 0, the slower this strobe's going to go. So let's bring it all the way down to 1. So I have this set to DMX, the DMX channel for strobe to 1. So 1's not doing anything. I have it set to 4. So 4 is the slowest this is going to strobe. And it's basically 1 strobe per second. So it can go from 1 strobe per second all the way up to 20 strobes per second or 20 hertz. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the C.T.O function on the puzzle. So C.T.O is color temperature orange. It allows you to adjust the color temperature of the LED. So the default LEDs on this are a cool white, and it's at about 8000 K, so it's got a bluish tint to it here. And if we adjust the C.T.O channel, it's going to adjust the color temperature of the white light. So as you can see, it is adjusting, and it's going to go all the way to a very orange color. So this is the orangest the C.T.O adjustment's going to get, and the further up you go, the cooler the white light's going to be. Now I'm going to do it so it's a little slower. And you can get a really nice neutral white light out of this as well. And a super cold white LED. It's almost purple looking. I'm now going to run this in auto mode, which is going to use the factory's built-in programs, just to show you guys kind of the color saturation and hues of the puzzle to give you guys a better idea. So we're going to set this to auto. So one thing you're going to notice is that the beam is not super straight, as you can see. They do this on purpose to give it a much cooler look to it. So when you do link these together, the beam on the wall is not going to be a straight linear line. It's going to be scattered, and I feel like it gives it a more unique look to it, and also continues with its name, puzzle piece. So it looks like a bunch of puzzle pieces that are scattered on your wall. We are going to take a look at the beam angle and beam spread on this light fixture, and we're going to bring in a little haze to show you guys that. This does claim a 2 to 45 degree beam angle for its zoom range. So if you can see that really tight square right now, right here, that's 2 degrees. The more blurrier squares right there, that's its 45 degree zoom range. So let's go ahead and take a look at that with the haze, just so we can kind of see how nice the beam angle looks on this light. Alright guys, so now we're going to move on to the sound test. I am about a foot away from the light fixture, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys hear the fans. They are at full speed right now, as the fixture has been running for about an hour. Something else to note is this does get noticeably hot, the chassis or the body of the light fixture. So it's not going to be so hot it's going to scald your hand, but it's noticeable. Go ahead and listen to the fan sounds. Go ahead and listen to the fan sounds. You can also hear the motor sounds as well. Again, we are a foot away. We are now about 6 feet away from the light fixture. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys listen in to see if you can hear anything. To me, this light fixture is relatively quiet. The only thing that's noticeable is the motor noise from the zoom mechanism. It is a little louder than the fan, however it's not super loud. So from 10 feet away, you're not going to actually hear any of the sounds this light fixture makes. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I love seeing likes on my videos. If this interested you, or DJ lighting, stage lighting, equipment, atmospherics, stuff like that, reviews on stuff like that as well, if that does interest you, go ahead and follow my channel at TheatricallyJerry. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.